Hello again, everybody. I'm Chris. I'm all set to count down the 40 most played country songs in the USA, compiled by Mediabase 24/7 for the chart week of July 12th, 2025. Before I get started counting down this week's biggest hits, let's take a look back at last week's top three. At number 3 was "Weren't for the Wind" by Ella Langley. Number 2 was "Just in Case" by Morgan Wallen. And the number 1 song last week was "This Heart" by Corey Kent. Now, can Corey stay at number 1 for a second week? Let's find out starting right now. Here's the first of the 40 biggest hits. Here's the first of 2 debuts, the new one from Morgan Wallen, which is 25th top 40 hit, coming in at number 40, called "I Got Better." Up a notch to number 39, here's Max McNown with "Better Me for You." And here's our second debut, coming in at number 38, Dylan Scott. It's his 10th top 40 hit, called "What He'll Never Have." With 2 debuts, we say goodbye to 2 droppers. Falling out this week are "Backseat Driver" and "Indigo." On the countdown, here's Blake Shelton up a notch to number 37 with "Stay Country or Die Trying." Up 3 spots to 36, here's Justin Moore with "Time's Ticking." In at number 35, 5 weeks in a row, it's Megan Patrick with "Golden Child." Dropping back 1 to number 34, Ernest with "Would If I Could." Leaping 3 spots to number 33, it's Zach Top with "Good Times and Tan Lines." At number 32, up 2 spots, a guy that knows a little bit about tan lines on the beach, Kenny Chesney and Megan Maroney with "You Had to Be There." And at number 31 for the 3rd week, it's Hardy with "Favorite Country Song." In his 10th week in the countdown, he's up 2 spots to number 30, Chase Matthew with "Darlin'." Up 1 to number 29, Parmalee with "Cowgirl." Up 1 to number 28, George Burge and "It Won't Be Long." Up 1 to number 27, Hudson Westbrook with "House Again." Up a notch to 26, Dierks Bentley and "She Hates Me." Up 1 to number 25, Rascal Flatts and the Jonas Brothers with "I Dare You." Up 1 to number 24, Tucker Wetmore with "3, 2, 1." At number 23, in its 23rd week on the chart, Parker McCollum up a notch with "What Kind of Man." Up 1 to number 22, it's Lainey Wilson with "Somewhere Over Laredo." And at number 21, up a notch, it's Keith Urban with "Straight Line." In his 12th week in the countdown, he climbs 1 to number 20, Jelly Roll with "Heart of Stone." At number 19, up 1, it's Jackson Dean, called "Heavens to Betsy." Up a notch to number 18, it's Jordan Davis with "Bar None." And at number 17 for the 3rd week, it's Eric Church with "Hands of Time." At number 16, up 2 spots, it's Scotty McCreery and Hootie and the Blowfish with "Bottle Rockets." Up 1 to number 15, it's John Party with "Friday Night Heartbreaker." Falling 9 spots from number 5 to number 14, a former number 1 hit from Riley Green called "Worst Way." Up 2 spots to number 13, it's Russell Dickerson with "Happened to Me." At number 12, up 2 spots, Shabuzi with "Good News." And the 11th most played hit this week is Bailey Zimmerman and Luke Combs climbing 2 spots with "Backup Plan." Alright, here's the first of the 10 biggest hits, climbing a notch to number 10, and it becomes his 25th top 10 hit. It's Thomas Rhett with "After All the Bars Are Closed." Leaping 3 spots this week to number 9, scoring his 37th top 10 hit, it's Luke Bryan with the country song "Came On." In at number 8 this week, it's Morgan Wallen's former number 1 hit, "I'm the Problem." At number 7, climbing a notch, here's Tyler Hubbard with "Park." At number 6, up a notch, here's Nate Smith with "Fix What You Didn't Break." At number 5, here's last week's number 1 by Corey Kent, called "This Heart." And at number 4, climbing 2 spots, here's Josh Rouse, called "Single Again." And at number 3, up a notch this week, it's Sam Hunt with "Country House." The number 2 song in the nation for the 2nd week belongs to Morgan Wallen and "Just in Case." And the new number 1 song in country music this week, it took 24 weeks to get here, and he's climbed from number 3 last week to number 1, giving Ella Langley her 2nd number 1 country hit, called "Weren't for the Wind." And that is our countdown of this week's 40 most played country hits. Join me again next week. We'll count them down once again. We'll find out who'll have the number 1 song in country music. Thank you for listening.